Hi for the second time today. I loved our bongo session. I'm so sorry that I haven't done that earlier. I'm also sorry that I had no idea what I was doing. But it was great to talk to you and get some feedback and listen to your questions. I've scheduled another bongo session for next Tuesday so we can talk about the second draft and also the exam. I'll talk about both during that, and you can ask me some questions. Okay, so today's lesson, because it's Tuesday, is our reading lesson. We are doing Unit 2, Reading 2, Testing in Education. So I recommend that you have your reading book. Also, if you want to get onto WhatsApp with some of your classmates to discuss these questions, that's also super cool if you want to do that. Or if you want to talk about some of the reading questions with someone in your house, your kids, your partner, your cat, your fish, I don't know. Okay, so the topic for today is testing in education. And this is a topic that I feel many of us can relate to or have personal experience with. Many of us come from different countries where there is at least one huge, big, stressful test in your academic career that helps determine your future. I think most countries have a variation of this. I think in China, oh my god, don't laugh at my pronunciation, but it's called the Go Cow. Is that it? The Gao Cow. Gao Cow? And I know that students in China have this, and they have it in Vietnam. And this is like a huge test that everybody takes at the end of high school. And students prepare for this test for years and years and years. And it determines what kind of university you will go to. This is one of the reasons, this test is one of the reasons why high school in many Asian countries is incredibly stressful. Oh, my baby, come here. Come here. Come here. I love you. Oh, it's my other baby. My beautiful boy. So yeah, it's one of the reasons why high school is incredibly stressful for some students. But some other students tell me that these tests are really great because they give an opportunity for students who are maybe from some poor backgrounds to go to a really great university. So there's conflicted opinions about these tests. In my experience, my most stressful tests were not in high school. So in Ontario, when I was in high school, there was no big test between high school and university. They looked at all of your grades. And if all of your grades were good, you were allowed to go to a good university. The big stressful tests are, in my experience, were from university, like big exams in university. And I'm going to tell you the story of my most stressful test in just a minute. Okay, so your discussion questions for this topic today are, number one, are you good at taking tests? This is one of the criticisms against testing students, is that some people are great at taking tests, like they're good under pressure, they work well when they are stressed out or when there was a time limitation. But some people just freak out when there is a test. They become anxious, or they get anxiety. Anxiety is like when you feel like very nervous and stressed. Some people freeze. And freeze is like they cannot think. So even if they studied for a long, long time, under the pressure of a test, they cannot remember any of the answers. So some people just are not great at testing. And so is it fair to use tests to determine different people's futures? That's this question. Are tests a fair way to determine a future? So if I study for 3 weeks and you study for 3 weeks, but I am great at taking tests and you are terrible at taking tests, I'm going to get a better score on my test, even though we studied the same amount and maybe know the same amount of information. So is it fair that because I am good at taking tests, I go and go to a better university than you do? So this is another criticism of using tests to determine students' whole futures. But some other people say that tests are the most convenient and the most convenient way to assess large groups of people. As a teacher, I can tell you that giving a test is a very easy way for me to know what you know. Like, it is much easier for me to give you a test than it is to do a big group project or even to do something like mark an essay. Like, that takes a lot of time for me. So from a teacher side, giving tests is also very convenient. Okay, so questions. Are you good at taking tests? Like, we say when we're good at taking tests, we say we are good under pressure. So that is something you can say about yourself. You're like, I am good under pressure, meaning I work well when there is stress. Or you can say, I am bad under pressure. I get anxiety, I freeze. So what kind of person are you? Okay. And the last question is, are tests a fair way to determine a future? So that was what I was talking about before. Do you agree that this is the best way to determine the future of a person? Okay, and then this middle question is, what's the most stressful test you've ever taken? So for my Asian students, many of you, it'll be the Gaokao. But I'm going to tell you my most stressful test. So when I lived in England, I did a master's degree in psychology. And it was a 3-year program. And in my last year, I was working full-time as a teacher. I was studying full-time as a master's student. I was also doing an internship. An internship is when you work for free to get experience. So I was doing an internship at a psychology clinic, and I was pregnant. It was probably the most stressful time of my whole life. So for my psychology degree, I had one big final exam. It was a 3-hour exam, and in 3 hours I had to write 3 essays, and I had to use all the sources and references from my studies. So I had to study the different source material, memorize it, and then use it in different essays. And I did not know what the essay questions will be. Also, I was 9 months pregnant. I was like 2 weeks away from having a baby. So I was so pregnant and so big, I could not go to the big study center where we had like hundreds of students take this exam, because the table and the chair were attached in this very small space, and I was like too fat and pregnant to be able to sit in the chair. So they had to send a testing person to my house to wait and watch while I did this test at home. I'm gonna say, honestly, I barely passed this test. I was too stressed, too pregnant, too overwhelmed, and I think I got a 52%. I think I passed by 2%. Ugh, that's the most stressful test I've ever taken. So you remember, you have some options. You can talk about this in WhatsApp. You can write down your answers to these questions and use it as a writing exercise, or you can discuss this with somebody in your house. Okay. So when you are done talking about this in whatever way you want, I want you to read page 56 to 58. That's the reading part. And I also want you to do the exercises on page 59 to 62. The skill review asks you to find the main idea. So remember, we look for the main idea in the first sentence, last sentence, second sentence, whole paragraph. So you'll have to use your skimming skills to do the skill review. Okay, so that's your homework. It's for tomorrow, but you're working on your essays too, so I'm gonna post the answers tomorrow. But if you do this for Thursday, nobody will know. I think that was also fine. I also just sent you an email saying that Thursday I will not be posting a lesson. Thursday I have meetings and I have training. So I'm going to be busy all day Thursday. So tomorrow I'm going to make 2 grammar videos, the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. They will be separate videos. So you can watch them on Wednesday and on Thursday. And then I will be back giving a class on Friday. All right, everybody, have a lovely afternoon. Enjoy the kind of weird, windy spring weather. And I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.